And so we come to this little thing I found of Jojo Beck. Has everyone read her, Charlotte Jojo Beck? No? No? Okay. Life always gives us exactly the teacher we need at every moment. This includes every mosquito, every misfortune, every red light, every traffic jam, every obnoxious supervisor or employee, every illness, every loss, every moment of joy or depression, every addiction, every piece of garbage, every breath, every moment is the guru. Every moment is the guru. Moment by moment. These things come and these things go. And the saying was never more true of humanhood than this too shall pass. Whatever is the temptation, whatever is the fear, this too shall pass. Next year you'll look back at it. In fact, this year, I don't know about you, but I've come to the age where I look back, I can't even remember. I can't remember back there. I can't remember half of the things I went through. Why? Because they were just part of, as Joel said, the experiment. Let's consciously go through this experiment. And he said, be fascinated with it. Just look at it. Well, isn't this interesting that this is what I am beholding at this time? Let me get back inside myself. Let me behold God as God is. Let me behold the nature. Joel said, in the seeking, when he heard this, someone read this to him. In the seeking ye shall find, and in the finding ye shall marvel, and in the marvel ye shall rest. And he said, that's it. That's it. Marvel in the resting. Be fascinated. Marvel, but rest. That's it. That's where we find the it. The big it. It is. I am. God is. It is. Am I letting God be God? Am I letting my little self be? Be the very fulfillment that my soul longs for. For there is the grace. I come back to that over and over. The grace of God. As I am emptied out of this old conditioning, I come open-handed, open heart. Teach me, show me, guide me, lead me. Behold, it is I as me, this little self, living its life. Perhaps I'm just a seed in my consciousness, sprouting more every year, sprouting more with the experiment of coming home, back to center, back to soul, back to the one thing I can know, which is I exist. That I can know. I exist. Here I am. In this body I'm breathing in and out, and in the next incarnation or the next transition into another type of being, I will exist then. I will be. I will be. Not the little self, the big I refer to. I as I is. And so we pause, right between the clap, or snapping of the fingers. I love that. As I go around the house and I fall asleep, I snap my fingers. They don't snap so well anymore, but I know what I'm doing. But I used to could get the click, and it would be, wake up, be present. What does wake up mean? Wake up means be present. Ah, here I am, walking across floor. Ah, here I am, in this moment. Wake up, wake up. That was the Buddha's message, wake up. And the Master's message was, I love you. I will never leave you or forsake you. Wake up. Listen. Be still. Know that there's only love. What if you really knew that all there is love? What if you really knew that? Every moment of every day. And if you do, then please, you teach this class next year. Please tell me who you are. I'd love to trade places with you. Every moment of every day. All there is love, regardless of what it's taking form as. It's just love. And the love is trying to keep us awake on the path. Current. Let's be current. And we aren't current by being in denial of what's going on with us. Here we are, hanging it right out here for everyone to love us regardless until we can love ourselves. And if we're loving ourselves, then we are going to be much more loving to everyone around. And I do mean everyone. I mean everyone. The Master didn't say, love the people that you like what they wear, love the people that you like what they say, love the people that loves you. No, that's not what the Master said. In fact, I got a huge correction on that. You must love those who cannot love you. And that's a tough one. But that's where we go to God. God, make me that loving instrument that can love that person regardless. We don't do it outwardly. We don't put on the phony, let me bring her flowers stuff. Well, if that flows forth and that's a loving thing and it feels like something, that's fine. But no, what it is I will love the Christ in you that is screaming out for recognition, regardless of my dislike of what the behavior is, regardless of my personal criticism, I guess you could say, of what I feel. If only you would go this way, dear. If you will only listen to the message. If you would only meditate. If you could only read this book. No. None of that. Back inside. Sacred, secret, as Joel said. Sacred and secret. And God, I can't love this person, but I am willing for you to show me, guide me, love through me. I am willing to be that instrument, as St. Francis said. I am willing to love when my humanhood cannot, and especially those who don't particularly like me or love me or see who I am. I must see at all times through that, and I must love them, for God is loving me, and I must turn away and say, I am lovable, regardless. Regardless. Is this the higher path? Yes, indeed it is. Is it difficult? Yes, indeed it is. We encounter it every day. I had a handyman who had a helper come recently, and they had to do some terrible work underneath my house that I can't imagine having to crawl under there. It probably physically, if I could have, I would have, but who knows what was under there, and they had to go under and fix leaks, and then they had to put insulation back up under the floor, and I just sat there blessing them, and the helper, I think he was, I don't know, but he gave me the dirtiest look I've ever seen. I mean, if looks could have killed, it was like it was my fault, and I really only owned the place 2 or 3 months, It wasn't my fault what was under there, but oh my God, I saw that look, and I went in and I went, oh, Father, help me. If looks could have killed, I would have dropped over dead. And I said, oh, the Christ is screaming for recognition. And I just thanked them, and gave them some extra money and everything, because it was a dirty job. And, that's what I'm talking about. Everyday life. We're walking in everyday being and having to recognize that other people might not be as awake or have the access to their heart chakra. And if we have access to ours, then let it beam. But in the silence, I realized there was nothing I could say or do that would nullify this person's experience at the moment. And he got mad at a couple other things, and oh, wow. And I just went still, because I learned for years on the film set, there's nowhere to go but still, because the minute I try to do this, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. But inwardly, the Christ of my being recognizes the Christ of your being. And that's what namaste means. And those of us who love to say that, and the yoga communities and the infinite way, or the infinite way, yes, but the other spiritual vipassana experiences, and the Eastern culture has filtered in, and that is an honor. I honor the Christ of your being, and that's what we're doing. And I do that inwardly, I do that inwardly, and outwardly when appropriate, when it wouldn't be misunderstood. For here we are, living the living message. This is not a message that we float off in nirvana in our meditations and then get up and go about the business in a form that is less likely to be the God form. So it is an experiment, and it is an experience, and it is a constant correction, so to speak. Back on the path. Am I on the path? Am I scared? Have I been distracted? Am I scared? Am I distracted? Back on the path. What is the path? The Christ consciousness. Right here, moment by moment, regardless of all that is appearing in the outer realm. For I choose to live in the kingdom that the Master speaks of. This kingdom is no part of my kingdom is no part of this world. Go within, go within. And the prayer that we are taught is opening of consciousness. I must pour, and Joel was profound last night on the outpouring. What is it I'm longing for? Release it. Pour it out. If it's financial and you have 2 pennies, give one of them away. If it's health, then recognize the health of all being. Recognize those that are seeking to heal. recognize their Christ center. That's all we can do, is come back home to the very message that we have all lived in for years now. We come back home into the soul. We are willing to share this real kingdom. We want to live in the real kingdom, the spiritual kingdom that has treasures that are beyond anything we could have here. And yet look at the abundance. I'm astounded every day that I walk out and look at the leaves and the trees and the flowers. Every beast that comes up, every little dog or every cat or every bird. Wow, presence right there where I am, the very presence of God. And does it take practice? You betcha. Do I have to constantly be reawakened? You betcha. It's as though there's a little bell in my head that rings when I get off spiritual principle. And I've said this before, there's like a buzzer that says, spiritual error, and it goes off right back in here. And that's the warning. And if I don't take the warning, pretty soon I'm picked up like the scruff of the neck and shaken. Wake up. You're seeing through a glass darkly. Wake up. So I wake up and I remember the Buddha. Present. Where was he awake? No matter what the appearances were coming to him under the Bodhi tree, he sat. What is spiritual fulfillment? Joel said it on one tape and I heard it so loud and clear. Spiritual fulfillment is recognized by my ability to not react. Non-reaction is the little guide to how I'm doing on this journey. And those things that catch me, the things that poke at that little spot inside we call, our button. The world calls it when our buttons get pushed. Well, they were installed many lifetimes ago, and some of them are still reactive. But when they're punched, how well am I doing to recognize, oh, I'm reacting, oh, what's inside of me that I must investigate? As Sister Teresa said in the 1500s, she taught her nuns two things. I'm speaking of the Teresa of Avila. Investigate, meditate. Investigate, meditate. I must investigate my belief system. I must destroy it. Barbara Muhl gave us three things. Destroy your belief systems. All of them, because they were given to you, and I'm speaking of the world belief systems, family, teachers, schools, governments. Destroy them. They are lies. Destroy your belief systems. Learn to be real and learn to love. And because all of those things have different meanings and connotations to each person, because of our conditioning, we do the investigating. Why do I believe that? Why do I believe that I have to cut the ends off of the ham to put it in the pan? Because my mother did it. But her pan was smaller than mine. And we're still cutting the ends off the ham. This is an example. What things are you continuing to do that have no relevance anymore? investigate your lies and your belief systems, especially about yourself and your relationship to others. We take off the Savior sandals. We stop trying to fix them, and I think mostly we try to fix them because we believe if I can fix them, all will be well and I will be safe and non-disturbed. We stop trying to fix. And when we continue to fix when not asked, we get whammed. And even though it appears I've been asked, I must tread lightly. I must go in and realize they're not asking me to correct their humanhood. They're asking me to recognize their spiritual dominion and their own power, and empower them to do for themselves what they need to do. That is not my job. And so the crucifixion comes after we've mispresented. Then, for me, I'm really hard on myself. And I go quiet as I can possibly be. And I ask, and I surrender, and I say, let me see clearly what just took place. Open my eyes, open my heart. Let me love those who cannot love me. And we proceed step by step to do just what's in front of us. For what else is there? Just the next right thing, what's in front of us. The next right thing, because the next thing in front of me brings me into the moment, into that precious moment. Pause. I think the two most important buttons on the computer, and I would like them in me instead of those other buttons, delete and pause, delete and pause, delete and pause. Pause before the mouth opens. Go in, be still. Go to that still, small voice. No one really wants correcting or pointing of the way. All they really want is love. As Barbara said, destroy your belief system, especially about them. Learn to be real yourself, and that doesn't mean real in humanhood. That means real spiritual self. For then, learning to love is so much easier when Spirit is guiding us. And then we come home. And this handout, I guess I don't know, maybe I printed it. And I'm going to change it somewhat, for it says rules for being human. And I'm going to change it to rules for being spiritual. You will receive a body. You may not like it or you may hate it, but it will be yours for life, for the entire period this time around. You will learn lessons. You are enrolled in a full-time informal school called life. Each day in this school, you will have the opportunity to learn lessons. You may like the lessons or think them irrelevant and stupid. There are no mistakes, only lessons. Growth is a process of trial and error and experimentation, the failed experiments are as much a part of the process as the experiment that ultimately works. And I love that these words coincide with the words on the tape last night, that this is an experiment and there's trial. And every time I see the word error, I immediately go to error as Joel has explained it to us. Error being mistaken identity. A lesson is repeated until learned, and a lesson will be presented to you in various forms until you have learned it. And when you have learned it, you then go on to the next lesson. Learning lessons will not end. There is no part of life that does not contain its lessons. If you are alive, there are lessons. There is no better than here. When your there has become a here, you will simply obtain another there. So be here now. Because we always think, oh, it'll be better over there, or it'll be better when this. It'll be better when that. It's better right now, right here. What you make of your life is up to you. You have all the tools and resources you need. What you make of them is up to you. It's your choice. Never, ever condemned. Your answers lie inside you. All you have to do is look, listen, and trust. And the last one says, and you will forget all of this. Because when you're going through it, you forget all that. All right. Spiritual fulfillment, the Bergamo class. Anyone opening their consciousness to divine guidance will come to understand that all the blessings coming forth to them individually will likewise accrue to their associates, for consciousness is one. So everything you put yourself through, you're not doing for you alone, but it is the 100th monkey analogy that as you sit over here and remember consciousness, remember Christ's path, remember I am that I am, that goes out into consciousness, and the little monkeys on the island over in Asia are starting to go, oh, it's right here, right now, the I am that I am. Be gentle with yourself. And the next important word on the announcement was receptivity will be the theme of our class this fall. Receptivity to the Christ ability. Receptivity to that which you go within and hear within your own being. Receptivity to allowing that child within to come forth and play in love. And I suggested 2 chapters. I hope you all did your homework and read those chapters. If you brought the books with you, well, you probably all have the announcement, but when ye pray, and God the substance of all form, the fulfillment of consciousness. And let us remember that fulfillment is not about Dulcie fulfilling her life, or Mary, or John. It is about God fulfilling its life as, and we misinterpret. And we come home, over and over we come home, moment by moment, to the divine. I of my own self am nothing, saith the Master, but I am that I am. The very substance of being is divine. My spiritual self will eternally unfold into everlasting. The I never had a beginning and will never have an end. We're just having one little incarnation as a little speck on this huge planet. And the more grateful we are, the more beauty we behold. The more I say thank you, I love you, thank you, I love you. And we can do it under our breath, and we say it to each and every one, and we mostly have to say it to ourselves, for that is who we are the hardest on. Thank you, please forgive me, I love you. Thank you, please forgive me, I forgot who I am, I forgot who you are, please forgive me. Thank you. On and on it goes. Pono pono. I love you. Thank you. Please forgive me. I forgot. Wake me up when I'm asleep with your love, and I will wake you up when you're asleep with my love. Not the little my, but the big my love, as Christ speaks of, my kingdom, my love. Impersonal, universal love. Did you know love is universally being beamed as much as the negative? For consciousness is universal. Which station do we tune into? That which uplifts or that which drags down? Keep turning the channel, keep tuning in to the love. What if love is really all there is?